Chosen one, you are not here by chance, and this moment is not random. Heaven itself has arranged this encounter. Before you clicked this video, before you even felt the weight of worry pressing on your mind, God had already marked this moment as an answer. This is a divine appointment, a holy interruption perfectly timed by the unseen realm to realign your heart and your future. Chosen one, hear this with your spirit fully awake. You are standing at the edge of a supernatural breakthrough. What once felt delayed is now aligning. What once felt uncertain is now being clarified. The burden of survival is lifting because God is transitioning you from striving into provision, from anxiety into assurance, from wondering how into resting in who. Anointed one, this is the season where heaven begins to fund what God has authored in your life. Just as it is written in Philippians chapter 4 verse 19, God supplies all your needs according to his riches in glory, not from struggle, not from fear, but from divine abundance and perfect timing. Chosen one, stop worrying. The weight you carried was never meant to be permanent. God is stepping into your timeline with strategy, favor, and supernatural supply. Prepare your spirit. What is unfolding now is bigger than you imagined, and your life is about to reflect the faith you've been quietly holding on to. Chosen one, hear this slowly and let it settle beyond your thoughts and into your spirit. This is the moment when God steps directly into your timeline with provision, clarity, and divine funding. Not symbolically, not eventually, but intentionally. The weight you have been carrying is being lifted not because you became stronger, but because heaven has decided you have carried enough. The fear that whispered to you in the quiet hours, the fear that asked how long you could keep holding everything together, is losing its authority right now. What felt delayed was never denial. It was alignment forming beneath the surface. Chosen one, listen with your spirit fully awake. You are entering a realm where God funds what he authors, where divine strategy meets supernatural supply, where what was written over your life begins to manifest in real time. This is not theory. This is order being restored. Just as it is written in Philippians chapter 4 verse 19, God supplies all needs according to his riches in glory, not according to pressure, not according to your exhaustion, but according to heaven's unlimited storehouse. You are stepping into holy provision. You are stepping into divine alignment. You are stepping into the life heaven prepared long before you knew how badly you would need it. And I need you to understand this clearly. Chosen one, what is coming is bigger than you imagined, not because you underestimated yourself, but because you could not yet see the full scope of what God was doing behind the scenes. What is happening in your life right now is not random. It is not accidental. It is not coincidental. This is a divine transition, a holy rearranging of the atmosphere around you. This is the moment where heaven steps into your story in a way logic cannot explain and effort could never produce. You are being shifted from a life built on survival into a life carried by supernatural supply. And as you listen to this word, something in you already knows it. You may not be able to explain it, but your spirit recognizes truth when it hears it. Something in you is rising. Something in you is remembering. Something in you is awakening to what heaven has been quietly preparing you for all along. While you were doing your best just to make it through another day, heaven was planning a future where you no longer live from emergency to emergency. Chosen one, for a long time you have lived under the weight of responsibility. Bills, decisions, expectations, unspoken fears. You have carried more than most people ever realized. You stretched yourself thin, trying to make life work through your own strength. And there were nights you wondered how much longer you could keep going without something breaking. But hear this clearly. The season of barely getting by is ending. The pattern of constant scrambling is being dismantled by heaven itself. You are stepping into a dimension where God is no longer just your comfort. He is your source. He is your provider. He is the one sponsoring your steps, your ideas, your healing, your elevation. Lack is no longer the narrative over your life. That story is being deleted at the root. And I say this not as someone speaking from theory, but as someone who has walked through their own wilderness seasons. I know what it feels like to stare at a situation that does not match the promise God spoke. I remember seasons where I was juggling responsibilities, deadlines, and silent battles all at once. Even when no one else saw the struggle, God did. And every time I reached the end of my strength, heaven had already prepared provision I could not have planned. Sometimes it came as a connection I did not expect. Sometimes it came as a door I never knocked on. Sometimes it came as peace before circumstances changed. That same grace is rising over your life right now, chosen one. Heaven is not giving you crumbs. Heaven is preparing a feast. This is not about temporary relief or quick fixes that fade as fast as they appear. This is about holy overflow, a divine abundance that touches every area of your life. Yes, resources are coming. Yes, money will show up at the right time. But heaven is releasing more than currency. Ideas are coming, favor is coming, peace is coming, clarity is coming, rest is coming, healing is coming, solutions are forming before the problem even finishes speaking. You are entering a flow where things align with a grace that does not make sense to the natural mind. This is supernatural alignment, divine strategy adjusting you into what has been yours through Christ all along. I have spoken with people who buried their dreams because they believed their resources were too small or their timing had passed. And yet I have watched heaven resurrect visions in a single moment. I remember listening to someone share how they carried a vision for nearly a decade, convinced they missed their window. Then one ordinary afternoon, someone overheard their passion, and within weeks everything was funded, supported, and launched. Later, they said something I will never forget. God could not release it until I stopped surviving and started believing again. Chosen one. This is your invitation to believe again. You have spent years trying to earn what heaven always intended to give. You tried to prove yourself through effort, through overwork, through perfection. But what is coming now is not payment for performance. It is release based on purpose. God is funding your future because your life carries weight. There is assignment on you. There is impact attached to your existence. You are not just being blessed. You are being entrusted. And because of that, this is not the moment to shrink. This is not the moment to doubt. Heaven did not bring you this far for you to question your worth now. Lift your head, chosen one. Something is shifting. Something is unlocking. Something is awakening on your behalf. What felt delayed was being prepared. What felt denied was being aligned. And this is only the beginning. Chosen one. What you are experiencing right now is not a coincidence layered with emotion. It is a spiritual recalibration. Heaven is rewriting the narrative that once governed your life. The story that told you to brace for lack, expect disappointment, and prepare for survival is losing its authority. A new story is being established, and it begins with one unshakable truth. God is no longer allowing you to live beneath what He has already prepared. What felt like pressure in recent seasons was not punishment, it was preparation. You were being strengthened internally for what could not arrive prematurely. Heaven never releases externally what the Spirit cannot yet carry internally. That is why the delays felt heavy, why the waiting stretched you, why the uncertainty forced you to grow roots you did not even know you were developing. Chosen one, hear this clearly. You are being shifted from reacting to life into receiving from heaven. There is a difference. Reaction is driven by fear. Receiving is driven by trust. And trust is what God has been cultivating in you quietly, consistently, and sometimes painfully. You did not arrive at this moment by accident. You survived storms that should have taken you out. You endured silence that tested your faith. And yet here you are, still standing, still believing, still moving forward, even when nothing around you made sense. I remember seasons where I did everything I knew how to do and still felt like I was coming up short. I prayed, planned, worked, and waited only to feel like progress was crawling. But looking back now, I can see that God was protecting me from receiving too early what would have crushed me at that stage. He was building capacity while I thought he was withholding provision. And that same divine wisdom has been at work in your life. Chosen one. The shift you feel now is the sound of heaven saying, you are ready. Not perfect, not finished, but ready. Ready to steward, ready to carry, ready to walk with authority instead of anxiety. The season of barely holding things together is ending. You are entering a rhythm where provision becomes consistent, peace becomes normal, and clarity becomes familiar. This is the dimension where God is no longer just rescuing you from crisis, but establishing you in alignment. You are moving from moments of breakthrough into a lifestyle of flow. When heaven funds your life, provision is no longer an emergency response. It becomes a pattern, a rhythm, a predictable outcome of alignment. And you may notice something changing in you already. Your thoughts are shifting. Your expectations are rising. The fears that once dominated your inner dialogue are losing their grip. This is not imagination. This is confirmation. Heaven's timing has collided with your obedience. Chosen one identity always shifts before resources do. That is why heaven has been working so deeply on the inside of you. The way you think, speak, and perceive yourself is being upgraded. You are no longer thinking like someone trying to survive. You are beginning to think like someone called to build. You are no longer planning from fear. You are starting to plan from faith. I have lived through moments where the inner stirring came long before the outer evidence. Days when something inside whispered, more is coming, even though nothing around me reflected it. And every time I honored that whisper instead of sinking back into fear, provision followed. Sometimes quietly, sometimes unexpectedly, but always precisely. That same invisible grace is now unfolding in your life. There are blessings overtaking you that you cannot trace back to your own effort. Alignments forming without your involvement. Resources being positioned because heaven has already commanded them to find you. You may also notice certain things beginning to fall away. Habits, environments, even people. Not because they were evil, but because they were connected to a version of you that no longer exists. When heaven expands you, anything that shrinks you must be released. This removal is not rejection, it is protection, it is refinement. It is God making room for what carries weight, purpose, and promise. Chosen one, your new season demands a new environment, and heaven is rearranging everything to match what is coming. As you shift, the way you carry yourself will change. You will walk with deeper peace because the pressure you once carried is no longer yours to hold. You will speak with clarity because heaven is guiding your thoughts. You will make decisions with confidence because fear is losing its authority. This is not arrogance. This is alignment. I remember when worry used to suffocate my ability to dream. Every idea felt risky. Every step felt heavy. And it was only when I surrendered that inner battle that God released what was waiting for me. That same surrender is now being invited from you. Not passive surrender, but holy surrender. A posture that says, I do not know how, but I know who. This is where supernatural supply begins to flow. Provision that arrives before you ask. Opportunities that align without your planning. Ideas that spark when you least expect them. You will find yourself solving problems with insight you did not study for. You will walk into conversations carrying the exact breakthrough you have been praying for. And as this happens, remember this chosen one. You are not just being blessed. You are being positioned. Blessing comforts you. Positioning commissions you. Heaven is not preparing you for a moment. Heaven is preparing you for a mantle. A mantle requires maturity, clarity, and spiritual stability. That is why God has been reinforcing your foundation. The blessing coming to you will not crush you because heaven has strengthened you internally before expanding you externally. You are stepping into a life that no longer looks like struggle, but like purpose fulfilled. And this shift is irreversible. Chosen one before heaven releases greater provision around you. It is awakening a deeper truth within you. God always grows the person before he releases the promise. This is why the shift you are experiencing feels internal before it becomes visible. Heaven is not simply changing your circumstances. Heaven is changing you. And as your identity rises, everything connected to you must respond. There was a season when you lived under the pressure of survival. You measured life by what you had left instead of what God had spoken. You learned how to brace, how to manage, how to endure. That season taught you resilience, but it was never meant to define you. Survival was training, not destiny. And now heaven is calling you out of that identity and into alignment with who you truly are. Chosen one identity determines access. When you see yourself as someone barely getting by, you will unconsciously reject what requires stewardship. But when you see yourself as someone entrusted by heaven, provision finds a place to rest. This is why God has been reshaping the way you think, speak, and perceive yourself. You are no longer allowed to see yourself through the lens of past lack, old mistakes, or former limitations. I remember a season where I questioned whether I was truly ready for what I was praying for. I looked at my own flaws, my inconsistencies, my fears, and wondered why God would choose me. But every time I questioned my readiness, God reminded me of a truth that changed everything. He does not call the prepared, he prepares the called, and he is preparing you now. Chosen one. You were not chosen because you were perfect. You were chosen because you were willing to endure, willing to grow, willing to trust even when you did not understand. That willingness has positioned you for the next level of divine trust, and trust is what unlocks provision. You may notice a growing awareness of your worth. Not pride, not ego, but a quiet knowing that you matter to heaven. This awareness is breaking the cycle of overworking, over-explaining, and over-giving just to feel valuable. When you know your worth, you stop chasing validation. You stop settling for environments that drain you. You stop entertaining relationships that require you to shrink. This is why boundaries are forming in your life. Boundaries are not walls. They are structures that protect what God is building. Every major elevation requires separation from something familiar. Sometimes it is a habit. Sometimes it is a mindset. Sometimes it is a relationship. And while release can feel uncomfortable, it is always followed by replacement. I have learned that God never removes without restoring. He never subtracts without adding something greater. And the same exchange is happening in your life right now. Your spirit is expanding, your capacity is increasing, your discernment is sharpening. And with every internal shift, your external world is preparing to follow. Chosen one, you are being elevated into influence, not for ego, but for impact. Influence requires weight. It requires discernment. It requires stability. That is why heaven has been so intentional with your development. You are being shaped into someone who can carry wealth spiritually, emotionally, and financially without being destroyed by it. Heaven is preparing you not just for provision, but for responsibility. And responsibility is always preceded by refinement. You may feel more sensitive than before, more aware of energies, conversations, and environments. This is not weakness. This is spiritual maturity. God is sharpening your inner hearing so you can discern what aligns with your destiny and what threatens it. For years, many chosen ones silenced their intuition just to survive. You ignored inner nudges because life demanded speed instead of stillness. But now heaven is restoring your discernment. You are becoming aware again. You are sensing when something is off. You are recognizing divine opportunity before others see it. This is a sign that heaven is entrusting you with greater stewardship. Chosen one, peace is increasing in you, not because life is suddenly easy, but because your spirit is getting stronger. Peace is not the absence of problems. It is the presence of divine perspective. I have lived through storms that did not stop, but fear did. Not because circumstances changed, but because my inner foundation did. That same steadiness is settling into your spirit now. And as this inner strength grows, your relationship with provision is being healed. You are being delivered from a scarcity mindset that taught you to expect disappointment. Heaven is teaching you how to live from abundance instead of anxiety. Provision will no longer feel random. It will feel reliable. Blessings will no longer feel shocking. They will feel synchronized. You will begin to recognize patterns in how God provides. Patterns of timing, patterns of alignment, patterns of unexpected help. And when you recognize heaven's patterns, worry loses its grip. Provision becomes personal when you know the provider. As this revelation deepens, your confidence will rise. Not arrogance, but authority. You will walk differently, speak differently, make decisions with weight. And this shift will surprise even you. You will say no to what once tempted you and yes to what once intimidated you. Not because you suddenly became fearless, but because you finally understand who is backing you. Chosen one. Spiritual authority is not something you announce. It is something you carry. And as you carry it, influence follows naturally. People will begin to seek your insight, your presence, your wisdom, not because you asked for attention, but because heaven has been polishing you in private. You may have spent years feeling hidden, overlooked, or underestimated, but none of that was punishment. It was preparation. A seed is hidden before it grows. A diamond is buried before it shines. And a chosen one is concealed before being revealed. That revealing is beginning now. And as influence increases, so will your sense of mission. You will feel a pull to uplift others, to speak life, to guide people through storms you survived. Heaven does not elevate you to isolate you. It elevates you to position you as a carrier of breakthrough. Everything you overcame has become oil, and that oil is about to flow. This is the identity that unlocks provision. Chosen one, there comes a sacred moment in every divine journey when heaven moves from observing your faith to actively sponsoring your steps. This is that moment. You are no longer standing at the edge wondering if God will come through. You are stepping into a flow where divine backing becomes evident, consistent, and undeniable. What once required strain will now move with grace, not because resistance disappears, but because your spirit has risen above it. You may already feel it. A subtle confidence, a quiet assurance, not excitement rooted in emotion, but stability rooted in truth. This is what happens when God shifts you from hoping for provision to partnering with heaven. You are no longer building alone. You are no longer carrying the vision alone. Heaven is now underwriting your obedience. Chosen one sponsorship from heaven does not always arrive loudly. Often it begins with clarity. Clarity about what to pursue, clarity about what to release, clarity about where to invest your energy. Confusion has been one of the enemy's most effective tools against you, but confusion cannot survive alignment, and alignment is settling over your life now. I remember seasons where I prayed desperately for answers, only to be met with silence. At the time, the silence felt like abandonment. But later, I realized it was preparation. God was quiet, not because he was absent, but because he was training me to listen deeper. And when clarity finally came, it came with such precision that it rearranged my entire direction. That same precision is being released into your life. Answers that once felt delayed are beginning to surface. You will find yourself knowing what to do next without over-analyzing it. You will sense direction without doubting whether it is from God. This clarity is not coming from your mind. It is coming from your spirit. Chosen one heaven is aligning your thoughts with your calling, your desires with your destiny, and your vision with divine timing. As this alignment deepens, confusion will lose its power over you. The fog that once surrounded your decisions is lifting. You are being guided by an inner compass that cannot be shaken by external noise. There were moments in my own journey where I begged God for clarity and heard nothing, only to later realize that the silence was strengthening my discernment. When clarity arrived, it was not rushed, it was complete, and that clarity changed everything. That same completeness is approaching your life now. As clarity increases, so will the weight of your calling. You will feel an inner pull toward purpose that refuses to be ignored. There will be mornings when you wake up with a sense that something significant is unfolding. Not anxiety, expectation, not pressure, readiness. You may notice your passion reigniting without explanation. Dreams you buried to survive will resurface with new life. Conversations will remind you of who you truly are and who you were always meant to become. This is not nostalgia. This is awakening. Heaven is stirring what it planted in you long ago. Chosen one, you will no longer be able to hide from your assignment. Not because God is forcing you, but because your spirit is ready to carry it. Heaven has placed too much inside you to let you remain small. And as this assignment awakens, your environment will begin to respond. Some people who once felt comfortable around you may grow uneasy. Some spaces that once felt familiar may begin to feel restrictive. Conversations that once entertained you may now feel draining. This is not rejection, this is elevation. Your spirit is rising, and anything that does not match that elevation will naturally fall away. This is divine filtration. God is protecting the purity of what He is building inside you by removing what threatens its growth. Release is part of rising. You cannot carry old weight into a new dimension. Chosen one heaven is also reorganizing your priorities. Things you once tolerated will no longer sit right in your spirit. Certain habits will fall away without effort because they no longer align with who you are becoming. You will crave peace more than approval, purpose more than entertainment, depth more than distraction. I have walked through this shift myself. I remember wondering why certain things no longer fulfilled me, only to realize that my spirit had outgrown what my flesh once depended on. That same growth is happening in you now. And it is a sign that heaven is maturing you for supernatural responsibility. As this maturity develops, you will move with a confidence that does not come from achievements or applause. It comes from revelation, a revelation that you are backed by heaven, guided by God, sustained by grace. This confidence may feel unfamiliar at first, because for so long you were conditioned to doubt your voice and shrink your power. But as God strengthens you internally, your confidence will no longer be tied to circumstances. It will be anchored in identity. Your identity as someone chosen, someone anointed, someone assigned to carry what others are not equipped to hold. As your confidence grows, opportunities will begin to recognize you before you recognize them. You will step into moments that feel tailor-made for your gifting. You will meet people who feel heaven sent. You will enter rooms your old self never believed you belonged in. And yet with each door that opens, you will feel not surprise, but alignment. Because deep down you will realize that everything happening around you was first prepared within you. Heaven never releases externally what you are not ready for internally. Chosen one. This is the flow you are entering. A flow where breakthroughs feel natural, where elevation feels inevitable, where blessings feel like the natural expression of who you are becoming. Heaven is not simply transforming your circumstances. Heaven is transforming you. And as you change, everything around you must adjust. This is what it looks like when heaven begins to sponsor your steps. Chosen one. When heaven truly takes the lead in your life, provision no longer arrives as a rare event. It becomes a rhythm, a steady, reliable flow that moves with divine timing instead of human effort. This is the season you are entering now, not a season of chasing, forcing, or exhausting yourself, but a season of alignment where what is meant for you begins to find you. You may have noticed that your relationship with struggle is changing. Things that once drained you no longer have the same grip. Situations that once caused panic now meet you with calm. This is not because challenges have vanished, but because your spirit has been repositioned. You are no longer living in reaction to circumstances. You are living in response to divine instruction. Chosen one alignment changes everything. When your spirit aligns with heaven's rhythm, life moves with grace instead of grinding. Effort is still required, but fear is removed. You build, but you do not break. You move forward, not because the path is smooth, but because your spirit is sure. I remember a time when every decision felt heavy, like one wrong move would undo everything. I was constantly calculating risk, bracing for loss, preparing for disappointment. But when alignment came, something shifted internally. I stopped asking, "What if this fails?" and started asking, "Is this aligned?" That single question changed how I moved. And provision followed alignment every time. That same internal shift is happening in you now, chosen one. You are becoming someone who listens before acting, discerns before deciding, and trusts before striving. This is not hesitation, it is wisdom. Heaven is teaching you how to move with precision. As this precision increases, you will notice your vision expanding. Ideas that once felt too big will begin to feel possible. Plans you once dismissed as unrealistic will now feel divinely inspired. This is because heaven is awakening the builder within you. You were never called to merely survive life. You were called to shape it. The fog of fear is lifting, and with it your creativity is returning. Insight is sharpening. Spiritual instincts are becoming clearer. This awakening is not random. It is preparation. Heaven is getting you ready to steward something greater than anything you have carried before. Chosen one, as your sense of purpose intensifies, you may also notice a growing disinterest in anything that drains your spirit. People, environments, and habits that once held your attention no longer satisfy you. This is not boredom. This is outgrowing what was only meant for an earlier chapter. Heaven will not allow you to settle in spaces that shrink your calling. Your assignment is too vast, too sacred, too significant. And as you step out of old spaces, you will discover that heaven has already prepared new ones, spaces where your voice is valued, where your gifts are honored, where your anointing is recognized. This transition into purpose activates a deeper trust within you. You begin to move with confidence, not because you know every detail, but because you know who is guiding you. Trust becomes your language. Peace becomes your posture. Surrender becomes your strength. You stop trying to control outcomes because you finally understand that divine timing is not just accurate, it is perfect. As this trust grows, your life enters a rhythm of supernatural ease. Not ease that removes effort, but ease that removes fear. You will work without worrying, build without breaking, progress without panic. This is the evidence that heaven is not preparing you for a moment. Heaven is preparing you for a mantle. A mantle carries influence, abundance, clarity, and sacred responsibility. Everything you are becoming is aligning you with everything you are called to do, and this chapter you are entering is not temporary, it is transformational. Chosen one, as this transformation deepens, you may feel a heightened awareness in your spirit, a sense that heaven is communicating more clearly than before. The signs feel closer, confirmations arrive faster, the inner knowing becomes stronger. It will feel as though heaven has lowered itself to whisper directly into your spirit. This is not imagination, this is maturity. You have grown through endurance. You have been refined through waiting, and now your spiritual frequency has risen high enough to receive revelation that was always meant for you. You will begin to understand things without needing explanations. You will sense shifts before they become visible. You will recognize opportunity before others see it. This heightened awareness is entrusted only to those who allowed God to strip away fear, doubt, and distraction. And you have allowed that stripping even when it hurt. Every painful chapter you survived became preparation for this spiritual intelligence. As your discernment increases, your decisions will shift. You will no longer move from impulse. You will move from revelation. You will stop wasting energy explaining yourself to those who cannot discern you. You will stop fighting battles heaven never assigned to you. Instead, you will move with grace, clarity, and quiet confidence. Not loud, not performative, peaceful. That peace will say, I am exactly where I am meant to be. And from that place of peace, influence will increase naturally. People will seek your presence without understanding why. They will feel steadied by your calm, strengthened by your clarity, and drawn to the light you carry. You are becoming a carrier of divine atmosphere. This is not something you force, it is something you embody. The more aligned you become, the more heaven's presence flows through you. You will enter rooms and shift the tone without speaking a word, not because you are trying to impress, but because you are walking as someone who has been touched by the supernatural hand of God. Chosen one heaven is also aligning provision with purpose. You will no longer live in the tension of believing for big things while receiving small ones. The scale of your blessing will begin to match the scale of your calling. Resources will come that fit your assignment. Ideas will come that match your capacity. Connections will come that align with your destiny. And none of it will feel rushed or forced. It will feel right on time. This is not random increase. It is strategic release. Heaven is saying, now build what I placed inside you. And as this flow continues, provision will no longer surprise you. It will follow you. This is the rhythm of divine supply. Chosen one before heaven releases abundance around you in its fullest expression. It completes a sacred work within you. God does not pour new wine into fragile vessels. He strengthens the inner structure first, so that when the blessing arrives, it rests without crushing you. This is the stage you are walking through now. What you feel is not regression, it is reinforcement. You may notice emotions surfacing that you thought you had already dealt with. Old fears, old patterns, old reactions trying to reappear. Do not be alarmed. This is not failure. This is purification. Heaven is bringing hidden weight to the surface so it can be released permanently. You cannot enter your next dimension carrying the residue of survival. Chosen one, purification is not punishment. It is preparation. There are moments in this season where you may feel stretched, unusually sensitive, or deeply reflective. This is because heaven is increasing your spiritual sensitivity so you can discern what is divine, what is distracting, and what is dangerous to your destiny. For years, many chosen ones learned to numb their intuition just to get through life. You silenced inner nudges because survival required speed, not stillness. But now heaven is restoring your discernment. Your intuition is waking up again. You are becoming aware of energies, intentions, and environments that once went unnoticed. This is not weakness. This is maturity. Someone who cannot discern cannot steward destiny. And God is making sure you are spiritually equipped for what He is bringing into your life. Along with this discernment, you may notice your capacity for peace increasing. Situations that once rattled you now feel manageable. Storms that once terrified you now awaken calm wisdom within you. Peace is not the absence of problems. It is the presence of divine perspective. I have lived through seasons where the storms did not stop, but my fear did. Not because circumstances changed overnight, but because God strengthened my inner foundation. That same steadiness is forming within you now. And as it does, your relationship with provision is being healed at the root. Chosen one. Many of you lived under the constant question of, will I have enough money, enough time, enough strength, enough support? Those seasons trained you to brace for lack and expect disappointment. But heaven is rewriting that script. You are being taught how to live from abundance instead of anxiety. Provision will no longer feel unpredictable. It will feel dependable. Blessings will no longer feel random. They will feel synchronized. You will begin to notice patterns in how God provides. Patterns of timing, patterns of alignment, patterns of unexpected help that arrive at the exact moment they are needed. When you recognize heaven's patterns, worry loses its authority. Chosen one, God is not just providing for you. He is partnering with you. This partnership becomes clear as heaven aligns your steps with divine timing. You will begin to recognize moments that feel predestined, conversations that open doors, encounters that redirect your path. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations. Heaven is orchestrating alignment that you could never manufacture through effort alone. And the more aligned you become internally, the more acceleration you will experience externally. Alignment produces momentum. Momentum produces flow. Another noticeable shift in this season is your growing awareness of your worth. You are beginning to understand that your value does not come from what you produce, earn, or achieve. It comes from who you are in the eyes of heaven. This revelation is dismantling the old mindset that tied your worth to performance. When you know your worth, you stop chasing validation. You stop settling for environments that drain you. You stop entertaining relationships that feed off your insecurity. Instead, you attract people, places, and opportunities that honor what you carry. And as your worth becomes clear, your boundaries become firm. Boundaries are not barriers, they are blessings. They create the structure necessary for God to build something lasting in your life. I have learned that every major elevation required me to release something familiar. Sometimes it was a habit, sometimes a belief, sometimes a relationship. And every time I released what no longer fit, God replaced it with something far greater. That same exchange is unfolding for you now. Your spirit is expanding, your capacity is increasing, your peace is deepening, and with every internal upgrade, your external world is preparing to transform. Chosen one, stay open in this process. Stay surrendered. Stay aligned. The outpouring of provision, purpose, and clarity drawing near is not accidental. Heaven is revealing who you truly are beneath the weight of survival and the shadows of old identity. This revelation may come gently or suddenly, but it carries the same undeniable force. You are being shown the version of yourself God always saw, even when you could not recognize it. This unveiling is not emotional hype. It is spiritual awakening, and awakening prepares you for alignment, influence, and abundance. You may feel inner conflict at times as the old self tries to cling to familiar patterns while the new self rises with boldness. Thoughts shift, desires change, internal standards elevate. This is not confusion, this is upgrading. The survival mentality that once served you is dissolving. In its place, a mindset of clarity, authority, and abundance is emerging. You are not just thinking differently, you are becoming different. And though this transformation may feel unfamiliar, it is intentional and irreversible. As this rebirth continues, relationships around you will shift. Some people may distance themselves quietly. Others may suddenly draw closer, sensing something changing within you. Do not fear these movements. They are part of spiritual sorting that occurs when destiny activates. Those who cannot honor your calling will fade without drama. Those who carry divine alignment will be drawn effortlessly. Heaven is curating your connections with precision. Chosen one. This inner transformation is the unseen miracle that sustains the visible miracle. It is what allows blessing to rest on you without crushing you. And heaven is completing this work within you now with perfect timing. You are being strengthened to carry what you once only prayed for, and this inner strengthening is preparing you for the final unfolding ahead. Chosen one. What you are stepping into now is not potential. It is permission. Heaven has already approved the life that is beginning to unfold before you. This is why things feel different. This is why your spirit feels steadier. This is why the fear that once ruled your decisions no longer carries the same authority. You are no longer asking heaven for access. You are walking in what has already been authorized. There is a moment in every divine journey when striving ends and stewardship begins. That moment is here. You are no longer trying to convince God to move on your behalf. God has been waiting for you to come into alignment with what He already set in motion. The prayers you cried in secret were not ignored. They were answered in advance, stored in timing, and released now because you are finally ready to carry the weight of the answer. Chosen one. This is why peace has become your anchor. Not the fragile kind of peace that disappears when circumstances shift, but a deep, settled peace that remains even when life is still moving. This peace is proof that heaven has taken over the logistics. You are no longer managing outcomes alone. You are being carried by divine order. I remember when peace first settled into my life this way. The problems did not vanish overnight, but the panic did. The urgency to control everything loosened its grip, and that was when provision began to flow more consistently. Peace made room for clarity. Clarity made room for obedience. Obedience opened the door to provision. That same sequence is unfolding in your life now. Chosen one. Heaven does not just provide resources. Heaven establishes rhythms. You are learning to live in rhythm with divine timing rather than reacting to pressure. This rhythm will guide when to move, when to wait, when to speak, and when to rest. And as you honor this rhythm, things will begin to fall into place with less resistance. You will notice that opportunities are finding you instead of you chasing them. Conversations are opening doors without force. Solutions are arriving before the stress settles in. This is not luck. This is alignment. When your life synchronizes with heaven's pace, effort is multiplied by grace. You are entering a dimension where blessing is no longer something you hope for. It becomes something you steward. This requires maturity, and heaven has been building that maturity within you carefully. You are now someone who can hold abundance without losing humility, carry influence without losing integrity, and walk in favor without losing dependence on God. Chosen one. This is why your perspective has changed. You no longer see obstacles as threats. You see them as signals. You no longer interpret delay as denial. You recognize preparation. You no longer measure success by speed alone. You measure it by alignment. There were years when you had to survive without answers. Seasons when silence felt heavy. Moments when you wondered if anything you were doing mattered. But now you can see that nothing was wasted. Every detour built discernment. Every delay strengthened endurance. Every closed door protected you from paths that were never meant to sustain you. Heaven was not withholding. Heaven was refining, and now the refining is producing fruit. Chosen one. As this chapter unfolds, you will realize that heaven is not simply blessing you for your sake alone. You are becoming a conduit. What flows to you is meant to flow through you. This is why your heart has been softened. This is why compassion has deepened. This is why your sensitivity to others has increased. Heaven is preparing you to carry overflow responsibly. Your testimony is becoming a tool. Your journey is becoming a map for others, not because you have it all figured out, but because you have learned how to trust God in real life. People will recognize authenticity in you. They will sense wisdom in your presence. They will feel hope simply by being near you. This is influence rooted in integrity. Chosen one, do not underestimate the power of the life you are now living. Heaven is weaving your story into something larger than you can see from where you stand. Every obedient step you take sends ripples into places you may never personally witness. This is why heaven is so intentional about your alignment. What you carry has reach. You are stepping into a season where your words will carry weight. Your decisions will create momentum. Your presence will bring peace. This is not because you are trying to lead. It is because you have learned how to listen. Listening changes everything. You are no longer guided by the noise of fear or the pressure of comparison. You are guided by inner knowing. That knowing is the voice of a spirit aligned with heaven. And as long as you honor that voice, you will not miss what is meant for you. Chosen one, let go of the final traces of worry. Worry belongs to a season where you thought you were alone. You are not alone anymore. Heaven is actively involved in your life. The same God who carried you through survival is now partnering with you in purpose. You do not have to shrink to be safe. You do not have to rush to be relevant. You do not have to over-explain to be understood. You only have to stay aligned. What heaven has started in you will not fade. It will not stall. It will not reverse. It will unfold. It will strengthen. It will multiply. You are not waiting for provision. You are standing in the center of it. Chosen one. This is the life heaven has already approved. Chosen one. This is not the end of your journey. This is the beginning of your becoming. As this message comes to a close, let your spirit rest in a holy knowing heaven has already moved on your behalf. You are not waiting for provision. You are not hoping for confirmation. You are standing in the center of your Kairos moment, your divinely appointed season where God funds what He authored and sustains what He called. Anointed one. What has been awakened in your spirit will not fade. It is unfolding. It is strengthening. It is becoming the blueprint for the life heaven always designed for you. The supernatural transfer is already in motion. The wind behind you is holy. The path before you is blessed. Walk forward now with reverence and quiet boldness, knowing you are fully supported by heaven itself. Stay aligned with the anointing. Guard your peace. Keep your heart soft and your spirit receptive. Let gratitude anchor you as what has been promised begins to manifest in real time. The promise over your life is sealed, and nothing assigned to you will miss you. If this word resonated deep within your spirit, let your agreement be known in a sacred way. Share it with someone who needs this reminder. And if you feel led, remain connected here as we continue walking in truth together. Be blessed, chosen one. Your provision is here. Your confirmation is here. Your future is opening now.